And greetings, travelers. It's me, APG, here with a live tutorial. And as always, I hope whatever time of day it is for you and whatever it is you're doing, I hope it's going good. Well, I kind of thought everyone had figured out how to do this, but I received a message a little while ago asking if I would do a tutorial on how to make the sci-fi kaleidoscope. Well, I'm horrible at making tutorials, so I figured I would just make one live, and y'all can figure it out from there. And I don't see anybody hanging out here, so I'll get started and whatnot. Alright, to make the sci-fi kaleidoscope, it's pretty simple, all in all. And there's a couple of different ways you can start it, but the basics all start with the perfect circle, or a circle of some form. And however you go about doing it, whatever is easiest for you. Now I'm going to do quick and dirty, just to kind of get it out of the way. Alright, first thing you want to do, well, I suppose it really all depends, but if you want it to be vertical, then the first thing you're going to want to do is get your circle vertical. People, what is up? Well, like I was saying, I'm horrible at making tutorials, so I figured I would just make one real quick. Somebody had asked me. I figured everyone knew how to make these already, but I had somebody ask, so I said, okay. I will do a quick live tutorial on how to make one of these puppies. It's pretty simple, straightforward, nothing crazy. We know Beeble, and thanks to Beeble, this technique became possible, and thanks to my friend Joby, who showed me. Well, I'll show you how it all started, I guess, since there's nobody here really yet. Finally, a stream you can see. Yeah, right. Nobody's been watching lately. I haven't been streaming. I kind of cut it back a little bit. But all right. So if you know how to make the Beeble perfect circle, that's the start. So let's get that going here. And how you doing today, Beeble? I know you're streaming in a little while. I had like one of the worst nights sleep last night. Oops. Something wrong with my stomach. Something I ate or something. Oh, last night, my stomach, my intestines felt like they were being twisted. I did not get a whole heck of a lot of sleep last night. Why I'm up early enough to actually stream, so but alright, now once you get your first run, there's a couple of different ways, as I'm sure most of you are aware, that you can do the next part. You can either run wires, or you can just attach light floors on the outer perimeter. Oh, nice. 14 hours of sleep. Whoa. Yeah, no, my stomach, even this morning, it still feels like horrible. Oh, it's like bad. But I'm hoping as the day progresses, it will dissipate. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're now going to, after we've gotten our planters in there, on the outside of the planter, we're going to throw on our light floor. And right now it's going to be facing a direction we don't want, but we will change that shortly. And this is the basic version. This is the easy version. And then I'll get into the more complicated version after. See, everybody's doing that Valheim thing, and unfortunately, if you don't have a PC, you're not doing that. I hope they make a console version. It looks neat. Although, I definitely prefer the sci-fi sort of thing. Hey, Scott Shroud, what's going on? Thanks for stopping in. I know you guys have already seen this. I had a little bit of time, and Kibbles isn't streaming right now. Otherwise, we'd be watching him. And as I stated earlier, I thought pretty much everyone knew how to make one of these, but I did get a comment asking if I could make a tutorial. But you all know I suck at those, so I figured I'd just make one live, and if anyone had questions, or I could try to explain it as I went. Alright, so we got our first set there, right? Boom, boom, boom. Although, I'm an idiot, and I should have done something first, but I didn't. Let's see if we can't still put one there. No, we can't. Okay. So we're going to be a little... I should have probably... Oh, no, wait a minute. That's why. There we go. Now we can. Alright. So, once you do your first set, you want to make sure that you have a round room behind, because you want to be able to put this biodome back in the same place. That's really important. Right on, Beeble. So, well, that'll give some... And I'm sure it'll be different on console than it will be on PC. Alright, once you have your first set of light floor panels out on your circle, again, put a prefab room to hold your space. We're now going to delete our biodome, which is going to leave all of our light floor panels. We're then going to replace that with another biodome, and now we're going to fill in the gaps. Pretty simple, all in all. And I know with a tutorial you can speed all this process up. I'll try to go as quick as possible. But it's live. I just don't have the editing tools and skills at this point to, you know, do that. And I figured live ain't bad. Alright. You know what? What do I want to do? Alright, where's my light floors? There's one. Actually, I should probably change position here a little bit. There we go. So as long as you know your basic glitch skills, you should be able to make one of these pretty easily. And this is a basic one. This really won't take me long at all. And I'll explain the more advanced version. I do have a setup here. This is an old R&D where I had started one and then realized I didn't like the planet because the planet was too sunny. Oh, I bet, Beeble. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of at a creative rut with NMS just because, you know, it's getting more and more difficult for me to come up with different ways to use stuff. And I'm really hoping that we get some new build parts at some point. I don't think we're going to. I think at this point, you know, we might get some Quicksilver, but you've been unlocked. Unfortunately, you are correct with that. All right, now you should have 16 light floors in a circle, right? Bing, 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 bing. Now what I'm going to do here, just to kind of make sure that we retain our central point in our, you know, our space. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can, you know, if you don't want to put a round room, you can, you know, centralize. So if it, you know, if visually it's getting in your way, you can put a cuboid room there, and then, you know, just to hold your spot. Oh, thanks, people. Just trying to figure out, you know, new ways to use these parts is getting harder and harder. Okay, now, once you've got the circle, we need to change the position of the light floor panels, because when you're glitching them into the planter, they go in this direction. But what ends up happening is your electrical symbol is now facing, you know, this direction here. And we want them to face inwards. So we want them to be this way, if I remember correctly. Yep. All right, so the fat end of the lightning bolt is going to give you your direction of your part. Okay, so the fat end is facing in towards the center. That's what we're looking for here. Also, with the light floor, the fat end of your electrical symbol is also directionality left and right. If you're doing it with another part. But for the purposes that we want everything facing in towards the center. So you want to rotate your floor panel, make sure they're all facing that direction. Uh-oh. I'm going to mute you, and I got to answer this phone call. But I'll continue working. Alright, sorry about that, guys. There was a phone call I needed to take. Welcome, Boss Jillian. How you doing? Yeah, I'm not as popular as I used to be, so we're probably gonna have a nice chill, just a couple of folks here, just chilling. Alright, back to the tutorial portion of this. Alright, so now all of our light floors are facing internally, as we can see here. Everything's going to go towards the center. And that's really the basic of the setup. Everything else now is a question of positioning and parts. You can make these bigger. Chaos, or was it Carpentrix? It was either Chaos or Carpentrix, one of the two. We had started an outrageously large version of this, and with multiplayer building, it just became impossible to do. So we unfortunately had to hold off on finishing it. Okay, so once you have all of your light floor panels facing this direction, the black bar should be off to the right side here. Oh, Scottish, I wish I could enjoy some of that food. I had a horrible evening of stomach pains, and I think if I were to eat that right now, it would be not a good thing. Alright, now you can leave all of your light floors here. It just gives you other options on changing up pattern, design, things of that nature. So you can leave them. Will Badger, what's going on? The first part I usually start with is the race initiator, which is this puppy here. And as we all know, you're only allowed to supposedly use one, but with the blender glitch / banjo glitch, you can use as many as you would like. But as we also know, that can sometimes create rendering issues. Thankfully, with the Kaleidoscope, it seems to be okay. Now, it can get a little bit confusing at this point. It's really a good idea to kind of keep track of where you are by counting, so this might get a little bit annoying for you, and I apologize, but it's something I suggest so you don't get lost. There are ways to kind of figure out where you are in position, so if something happens, you need to step away, you miss a glitch, you whatever, you lose your positioning, it's a good idea to just kind of count. Alright, now couple of things with the race initiator. When you place one of these, it doesn't place right where you put it. So if I glitch it to this light floor panel, it's actually going to go 3 floor panels up. And I'll try and give you a little demo of that. Alright, so here's our light floor panel. If I attach the race initiator to the third one out here, that should end up right around here, on somewhere in this area. See? Okay. So see how far that jumps. Hey, Deavante. How you doing? Thank you for the Oreos. Now, this is where you start kind of creating your patterns, depending on, where you glitch these in. So if I go and throw another one right here, that's going to come down. space there, and then we come down here. Now you can kind of see how those position. And then you figure out where you want your center. Now I want a tight center. You know, it creates a neat little pattern in the center. And again, this is one of the simple versions, so you know, we'll keep it simple. So what we're going to do here is we're going to keep this centralized. We're going to do a nice tight center. So we're going to go using this, the closest version, or the closest floor panel, excuse me, right there. All right. Now again, pay it, and it's not a bad idea to also, you know, maybe color your light floor panel as you go around so you know which ones you've done. A little more effort, but it's helpful. 2, 3, 4. So now I just did that one. So we know. And the nice thing about the color and the wires are right next to each other. So usually once you get, you know, your 3 o'clock position, your 6 o'clock position. Yeah, see, I've already lost track of where I am because I started talking. I forgot where I was. So that's why it's really a good idea to color code or count. Hey, Pitch, what's going on? Pwn Stream, hello, welcome, folks. I think I was here. Nope, alright, we got a double up there. So now we know that we did this one. We'll color code it. And it's, you know, and just keep going around a circle until you've filled the space. It's this easy for a basic one. And yes, I'm sure if I had done a tutorial I could have fast forwarded through all of this, but I am horrible at making those things. And now we're going to be at the 6 o'clock position here. Alright, so now we're at 6. We're going to color code that. Seven. 8. 9. All right, we got 3 more to go. And again, for those of you who already know, thank you for hanging out and watching. I did get a request to have a tutorial of this, so I decided I would do a live version this morning. Alright, so we've got our complete run. Alright, we've gone all the way around. You should see, you know, a double of each one of these here. But what you're going to notice is it's all wacky. Although that does look cool, and it's kind of neat looking, we're looking for symmetry and, you know, a consistency. So once you have all of this, your first circle of race initiators, you're going to want to save. Very important. Or banana, or kumquat, or blueberry, or whatever you say for your savings. So we're going to save. And then we're going to call upon Manuel. And we're going to reload our manual save. And that should get everything synced up. Now again, this is the most basic version of the kaleidoscope. Simple, easy, looks neat. And then what you do to change up the patterns, the parts, you know, that's all up to you to have fun and experiment. And as I used to say all the time, throw some parts at it and see what happens, see what sticks. All right. Now, we should have everything nice and in sync here now. I mean, that is just a neat little thing. All right. Now you can leave your light floor panels here. In fact, you need to for a bit. Oh, please, Day. I know you could do this. Anyone can make one of these. If you have your basic banjo and blender skills down, you can make one of these easy. And they're not, it doesn't take too much time to make. If I wasn't sitting here flapping my gums, I could probably, I'd already be done with this. Okay, now we're going to add in the next part, which adds in some color, some texture change, a little bit of design change. And we're going to go, now you could use the outer one, but we're going to stay with our, our inner ring. The next part we're going to add is another race part. Well, hello. You're not supposed to be here. I could have sworn I deleted you. Alright, so we're going to go back to our race parts. And now we're going to go with this. And this is the thing that... Oh, you know what? Never mind. Strike that. We'll get back to that after. I prefer this one. Now, it is really important if you are making one of these that your first geobay you build somewhere else for that reason right there. As we see our Minotaur show up, we don't want that to happen in the kaleidoscope itself because it will get stuck in there, and I'll show you. Well, that would mean reloading, so I won't show you. But if you do that, what happens is you bring it in, the Minotaur drops in, and it gets stuck in this. And you have to call it out, onto the ground. It's just easier if you build it on the ground first. Now, we're going to take that, and we're going to repeat the process. This is easier to see if you miss. And as you can see, as this rotates, and you can use any one of the geobays. It really depends on the pattern you're trying to make. DG, what is up? Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for stopping in today, guys. I appreciate it. Heck, this is the most people I've had in chat in a while. And as you see, as it rotates, it's changed. You know, you only see parts of it come through, and that's where you get your kaleidoscope effect. Okay. So we're going to bring that back up. We're going to bring these all around. And again, at least this is easier to see, you know, if you've missed one. You can see right where, you know, and it's helpful to have this other light panel here. It kind of helps you find that flat edge if you need it. But it's pretty evident. I was going to start my stream a little different because I watched Good Morning Vietnam last night. I was going to, Good Morning No Man's Sky, but I did not. I mean, see how easy this is? It really is. It's super, super easy. And the nice thing about this as well is it's pretty phase-friendly deletion. You know, not a lot of issues with phase deletion with this. Well, let me rephrase that. With the wire. Some of the other parts can be pretty tricky. But if I remember correctly, unless things have changed, you can delete each one of these individually and not lose too much. And, of course, it's the last one. There it is. That is that. Now, again, it will be out of sync. So you're going to need to save. I love the smell of glitch parts in the morning. And we will call upon Manuel. Good morning, Manuel. Thank you for saving us as usual and making our out-of-sync parts sync up. They're so simple and so pretty, you know, and you can incorporate them in a number of different ways to your build. It's just your imagination, you know, how you go about adding your parts, where you put them. Right. A drunken monkey in space. Right on, day. All right. Now we'll wait for everything to pop in. And now we are all lined up and in sync. Now we'll see that kaleidoscope effect happen with pattern change as it's, you know, rotating through, you'll see the centers change shape. And just changing the color of certain things will add a different vibe to everything as well. Actually, I think I like gray and black better, to be honest. There we go. Much better. Okay. That is a simple, basic kaleidoscope. Everything after this is up to you. Anything you add to this point is just a question of okay. Now, a nice little easy add-in, and looks really good, is prefab window. Prefab window in here looks really neat. Oh, this might become an issue. Now the prefab windows are going to delete phase deletion. That's just the way they are. It's part of those parts. And then again, it's just, you know, following the pattern. And then this will break it up a little further. And the nice thing about this is you don't have to reload again. But see how that's muting out some of the geobay? So it mutes out some of that color, which then gives us, and it also mutes out some of the race initiator as well, which allows that pattern to then change even further. Oh, I swear my intestines feel like somebody's just in there twisting them. And just, you know, real quick, like, see the difference from the top section here where we haven't added those? And again, just altering the color of the window is going to, you know, make a subtle change to that as well in its appearance. I went black wood grain texture with the window. And we're probably going to lose a window here. We'll find out in a second. Nope. Alright. Phase deletion seems to be a little better these days. Not, I mean, it's, you know, you're still going to experience it, but it does seem to be a bit better. You pain in my And it's a good idea to draw your wire from somewhere outside, so you don't get lost in there. Ah, son of a gun. Now, once we do this, if I can get it to get in there. We will move on. There we go. And part addition is obviously completely up to you. I mean, there are multiple parts we can use for this. It's really just experiment. Chuck stuff around. See what happens. You can't, you know, you always have a save going, so if you don't like something, just reload. I mean, y'all know I'm like the reload king. Alright, looks like we're still missing... Looks like we're still missing one. Alright, there we go. Now, as we see with the window addition, you know, we get multiple patterns, because now as that geobay is rotating around, the window's blocking it at certain points, it's letting it through at certain points. So we, you know, we get these different patterns and colorations going on. All right, Pidge. Probably didn't even really know what was going on too. All right, if you leave just the race part well in the center, will it continue to look like water after a reload, or do they sync up and look close to what you have now? Well, once you reload, it's always going to, you know, sync up and look like this. You know, because as those parts move and pulse or rotate, you know, the race initiator has this kind of weird wobble, and that's where we're getting this pattern, is from the wobble. And from the front, it's going to look like this, and as we come around to the other side, we will have a slightly different appearance. You know what? We don't need this guy anymore. We're good. Well, that's not entirely true, but for this particular example, yeah, we don't need this. All right. Now see how we have a different look here because we don't have the window in here. So on this side, you're seeing the pattern we had previous to the windows, and on this side, you know, you get to see that pattern. And because we made the window black, you know, the light is catching certain angles of the window, of the pattern that we created by putting that window in a circle, you know, and you're left with this. Now, that's the basic. One run, 16 parts, well, 32 parts total, well, plus another 16 is, but you know, if we don't count the windows, just the race initiator and the geobay. There's a basic. Now, if you want to get more complicated, you'll have this. And you know what? I don't care about these. We're doing. All right, this is something I had set up. But what you're going to see here is I have multiple layers and things at angles. Notice these light floor panels are at an angle. They're at different angles. We've got different layers here. This is where you can really start to change the pattern of the kaleidoscope. So now if we were to take the same 16, and this is pretty much in the same configuration as this over here, the only difference is now we have these at an angle, and if I remember, I used the pyramid. So if we take our same parts, and we start adding them in here, I know it's not going to look like much off the bat, but why did I go this direction? That was foolish. All right. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can already see, you know, a slight change. We'll run this complete one here so you can see it fully, but excuse me. So if any of you have seen the video of the original Kaleidoscope on my channel, that one was built using angles and layers. And then there was another one I made with different angles and different layers. But that's the one thing when the people, when I had seen people making these, the only thing that nobody seemed to try was changing angles. Everyone was doing, you know, flat circles, and making neat kaleidoscopes, but people seem to have missed, you know, adding in an angle to change things up. Okay, I think I got them all. It looks symmetrical. All right, let's give a save and a reload. Do I have a save button down here? I do not. All right. So we're going to save it. Call upon Manuel. All right. I really hope that we get an anniversary update with some new building material. I really do. I'm not holding my breath for it. It's a lot of work for them to do that sort of thing, and I know they've been working on so many things. Hello Games is, for the size of that group of programmers, man, the amount of work they do is pretty amazing. You know, they're not a, you know, a DICE, a Bethesda, you know, you name it, whoever else, big game company. You know, a small group of folk making some really dope stuff. All right. Now, we have a different pattern. And because we've tilted those out at an angle now, we can actually, you know, we see a different centralized pattern, you know, just by changing the angle. And not only the central pattern is different, but, you know, the outer border portion is different. And the back also, obviously, will also have a different vibe because we've changed the angle. And now, because I would like these to be a different color, that's better. All right. But see how we've got a very different pattern here in the back. See how that opens up, creates that different look? Boom. Right there. Boom. Just by simply giving that race initiator an angle. Oh, I wish, Devante, I am out. I think that would probably help my stomach too. Now, here's where things get tricky. And you know what? I'm going to get rid of all these windows. I know they're just getting in our way right now, and I don't really care. Doing all these windows was creating, this was an idea I had before, and it just didn't end up coming out. Too much of a distraction, too many parts. Oh no! Oh, shite. Well, we didn't want to do that. Can I rescue that somehow? No, sorry, gotta reload. Manuel, I messed up. Well, we'll see, Beebs. I hope, I know we're going to get new expedition, I would imagine, yes. Oh, man. It's getting old stuff. I swear, it's really starting to take effect. My body does not respond the way it used to. Heck, even 2 years ago. I mean, I'll be 50 in about a week or so, the 24th this month. And I'll tell you, man, my body is letting me know. It really is. The past year or so, my body's like, dude, you're about to be 50. You need to start changing your ways a bit. Okay. Now, see, I've got multiple. Yeah, we need to get these windows out of here. Too much stuff in our way. Just got to be a little bit smarter this time. Yeah, there's a whole lot of windows here. I forgot how many I'd used. Oops. Now, all these windows you see here were pretty much hand placed in. Bit by bit. All right. Get rid of those things. We don't need them. I don't want them back either. Let's just give ourselves a save. I was still doing all right in my 40s. I was mountain biking and I was active. I think this Corona thing had really kind of put a damper, but I became a little less active even before Corona. All right. Now we want to add in more parts. And it really is just a question of, trial and error. How do I want to, add stuff? Now, I don't remember which one. I think it was this outer circle we used. Yes. Okay. So now, if I look here, I've got a red section. I've got this outer basic white section. Let's color code ourselves here a little bit. And then we'll go our very outer section. Let's make this yellow just so we can see. Now this is the time where honestly I'm not going to do too much because it really is a question of trial and error and a lot of reload time, because you're not 100% every time on how this is going to show up. Alright, let's use the inner, well, we did this outer track for our race initiators. Let's use the red inner track for our GeoBay. And we'll use this one as well again. And we can do one. We'll start up top here. Alright, so we don't want that. It's not facing the right way. But we could instead try another part. It doesn't have to be that part. We can add that in later. Let's see what this does. Ooh. Well, that's kind of neat. Let's try that. All right. See what that looks like. These I like gray-black because it puts a black border on the outer bits there. Like if you use black and yellow, the outer bits will be yellow, etc., etc. And this is one of the reasons, aside from just, always doing multiple saves, just to make sure you're not going to do a bunch of work and then something happens and then you got to do that work all over again. But so you can strip away parts to see the overall appearance of everything. And the other thing, flip the floor panels around, reverse them, try different angles, all kinds of different stuff you can do. Hey, Higgs, what's up? And welcome, everybody. So now we're going to do... I don't want to save here, alright? Because I don't know if I'm going to like this part in here. We can keep it for now, we'll leave it, but I don't want to save, because I may not like the way this looks once I strip everything out. You want to save at a portion where you like its appearance. Experiment. If you like it, awesome, save. If you don't, reload, obviously. Create layers, create sections, do... Like, what's this going to do? That's going to cause me problems, is what it's going to do. I can sense it. But we're going to do it anyway because we don't care. Alright. So yeah, see, now I'm going to delete this and... Oh! Hey, I thought we were going to lose a race booster for certain there. Okay, now we are at a slight angle here. If we look at this from the other side, we're going to get a whole different kind of thing going on. You're not going to see any of that back here. Just a very little bit. But as we bring that around, that will change. We'll start adding in that color, which will, highlight off of the angles. And as you can see, even just in the upper part, how much that's changed in the back side here. But I don't particularly care for how this is looking on the front side, but we're going to just throw them all in and see what we get. Again, we haven't made a save yet, so we can experiment a little bit here. Although if you want to see what it looks like, you are going to have to reload, which, means you're going to need to save. So I'm already looking at this going, no, it's too bright. But part of me is really curious. We do need to reload to really see what it's going to look like. Exactly, Will. Exactly. That was kind of what I was getting at earlier, in terms of flipping things around. Yeah, no, I don't like this. Although, see how it's highlighting things over here. You're starting to see the pattern of the race booster floor. You know, we're getting that kind of star pattern now. You can see it. It's not dark. You know, we've got the lighting in there. How this lighting is starting to change. And again, we would really need to reload to see all of this. But okay, when we're gonna reload anyway because I know I don't like this. But this is what I mean by, you know, getting to a point that you're happy with what you have so far. Save. Usually not a bad idea to do a dual save. You know, do your auto save, do a manual save, and then that way you can always, you know, leave your auto save alone, and that way you always have that to go back to. We've all discussed this in the past, but you know, I'm just refreshing the memories. Oh man. Yeah, everyone's flopping over to Valheim on PC. Anyone who has a PC seems to be going over to Valheim. Which, you know, I get. You know, it's a whole different building mechanic, different parts, different, you know, whole different vibe. Alright, so what else we got in here? Now you could even, you know, go back to your race initiator, see where all your electrical connectors are. All right, which one do we use? Do we use the inner track originally or the outer track? Outer track. So now if I were to go with, you know, because our spacing is different here, we could, just to see what it looks like, yeah, okay, that's not bad. It might create a little bit different look. Could even bring this in one more, I think, depending on whether or not the light panels are in the way. And here's the other thing too that you want to consider. Not only you know, the distance between the outer circle and where that's going to land on the inner portion, but you could also bring these forward, back a little bit if you wanted. Like say, you know, say I wanted to drop this in a little. You know, now we've changed that position. You could even bring this down. You could bring it back in again. Although this becomes a little bit more pain in the butt because you got to do the whole, you know, add a we could probably, let's see here. But this is what I mean by just experiment, you know. You could put another layer off of, you know, one of your other layers just by bringing it out, bringing it back in, you know, using the short walls, you know, to change your position or add another part. Now, if we go with the same direction or the same spot, and this time we're going to use, let's use you. What happens if I put it here? We get that, which we don't want. But look at that, we got to delete it, nothing left, no phase deletion, thankfully. We're still all there? Yeah, good. Ooh, wow, I just never noticed that. That central... Yeah, that's neat. Okay. So we're going to go inner track on that again. Start there. Nope, don't like that either. What about here? That's too far out. But okay, you know what? Let's just add those. Why not? Did you know that you cannot buy a Bob Ross painting? Completely random, I know. All right. Getting somewhere. He did do 3 of every painting. That is correct, Will. I was just watching a thing on him recently. Yeah. No, they don't sell them. He didn't want to have his paintings sold. There is like a Bob Ross, you know, place that holds all of his paintings and everything. Now, we could strip this away by adding, you know, these I don't think I'm going to want there, but I'm going to leave them there anyway. All right, we're going to save, we're going to reload, we're going to see what this looks like. This is, again, all experimentation. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Yeah, exactly, Day. Oh, you probably watch the same thing I watch. Well, yes, the woman who kind of discovered him, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Whoa, hey, Manuel. I wish they'd do like just a big Bob Ross museum where they displayed his paintings somewhere. You could go and see his paintings, you know, hanging in display would be really great. Right now, they're just all they're all in boxes, not in a humidity controlled or climate controlled environment. They're in cardboard boxes on each other, like laying on each other. Not good for paintings. It would be really great if they had a Bob Ross museum. You go in, some sort of history about him, and then you could see, you know, his paintings hanging. You know, it'd have some that are mountain scenes, some, you know, with the, you know, structures in them or whatever. However they wanted to organize it. All right, now I'm going to get rid of you. Actually, you know what? All right, we're going to strip this all out just so we can kind of see what things are looking like at this point. And this is why the, you know, the more advanced versions of these take some time. You really are just, it's really a big trial and error sort of bit. All right, now I want to kind of close this gap up over here. So I want to take this one. All right, if 3 is going to bring me down to the edge of that, we're going to go 2. But I don't necessarily, I kind of want it in a slightly different area. So I want to bring that, do I want to bring it forward or do I want to bring it back? Well, let's try to see what it looks like with it in this spot, and then we'll go from there. Limit 1 per base. Well, I would like to use a few more. Alright, where does that end up? That's not bad. I love Antiques Roadshow. Hell yeah. Love Antiques Roadshow. All right, we want to bring that maybe up a little bit. Let's try one up higher. Oh, my stomach. That's better. That's where I want it. I should have just done what I thought I wanted to do in the first place. Okay, let's put those around. Although I really want to... Oh, it used to be a drinking game for some of our, a group of my friends and I. It used to be like, all right, it's got to be between, you know, X amount and X amount. And actually, the closest person had to drink. Oh. I also, as much as I don't particularly care for the people on the show, but I like the bits of history on the parts, and you know, are the things that people are bringing into the pawn shop. That what is it, Pawn Stars show there? I don't particularly care for the, you know, the people that run it, but sometimes they're funny. The Chum Lee guy is kind of funny. Yeah, exactly, Will. James, what's going on? How you doing? Part of me is wondering, do I want... Yeah, we'll see what it looks like. Why? Who cares? It's all experiment anyway. And that's a nice thing about these. No two are really exactly alike. I mean, yes, if you do what I just did and repeat what I just did, it will be exactly the same, but you could change the geobay, which would immediately change the pattern. Oh, my stomach. Like, from yesterday till this morning, this is... I think I ate something bad. I'm almost positive that's what it was. I think I had some bacon that wasn't quite wrapped up properly. Yeah, cool beans. Alright, let's save this and reload. You hit the big 50 today. Right on, James. Happy birthday. I will be hitting the big 50 on the 24th. I share a birthday with Bob Dylan. Well, happy birthday, James. Right on, right on. A lot of May babies. Not a whole lot going on in the cold months. A lot of us May babies out there. I was thinking I might build myself a big giant birthday cake in No Man's Sky. But getting 50 candles on that thing might be a little difficult. Excuse me. Oh, I really wish I had some nip nip. Oh. All right, now what do we look like? Da, da, da. Ooh. Very interesting. Interesting, interesting. But see what I mean? Just playing around. Just whatever wherever your imagination takes you, you know? I don't know why I put those there like that. I can't remember. I had a part I was using in there, and I can't remember what the heck it was. Flurb. You know, there's nothing saying you gotta, you know, have a ton of parts in there. You could leave some gaps like this. It makes it look interesting. And I just got kicked out of build cam. I hate that. I hope they fix that sometime soon. Alright, what else do we want to add to this? Now, actually, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I need to see what this looks like without these in there. And yes, we will probably, unfortunately, have to reload. But sometimes you need to strip away certain things just to kind of see, you know, how the overall, and go, okay, well, what can I put in there? Do I need to put anything in there? If this were in a different environment and we had a different background with the terrain, you know, hypothetically, you know, you could use the terrain as part of your background, if you will. So I'm just going to watch this make its rotations. And this, you know, again, is just making some minor alterations to your circle. Adding in some bits and pieces. Changing color on your parts really can make a huge difference too, by the way. Which, you know, you all know this. I ain't saying much new, but just trying to, again, refresh the memory, make you think about these things. Because sometimes I know I forget. Like, oh yeah, if I just do this, change the color or the texture or something, you know. Yeah, see? Now that the outer ring isn't so bright in its coloration, now we see more of the internal portion of it. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Need something in that gap, though, I think. Or we need to see what it would look like at nighttime here, which is not very often on this, where I landed here on the planet. It's a lot of daylight for most of the time, and I get like 5 minutes of nighttime here. But I mean, look at how different that pattern is just by the central pattern, just by angling that. You know, it's very, very different than this one over here. Whoop. You always know if you're if things are right. You can see if you have a perfect circle here, you know. If you're missing a part, it'd be pretty evident. All right. Seeing here on this side, you don't see as much of the gap, so we get a different pattern here. And this is what I'm talking about layers. You know, if you have multiple layers going on, you're going to start seeing different things, you know, obviously. Now we can see what it really looks like. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Beautiful pattern, different, just by altering a couple of little things. And that is the basics of the Sci-Fi Kaleidoscope. Actually, that does look really nice, doesn't it? I like that. Yeah, we may have to keep that. I'm going to have to reload, though, unfortunately, because I want to bring those other parts back just to check out, you know, see experiment. These things are so pretty to look at. They really are. They are very hypnotizing. I have a few Kaleidoscope, but for some reason I always have trouble with the race initiator. Huh. Yeah, it's the race initiator, like I said, it's a 3 floor panel jump. 3 light floor panel jump with the race initiator. So if you're putting the race initiator and you're glitching it to this one here, it's going to go 1, 2, you know, and you can see it here. That's you know, the 3 here. Let's just do it where we can see it, and we're not going to screw something up. Alright, so as we can see, it's really a 2-floor jump if you think about it. It's actually 1, 2. But when you glitch it to this top one here, it ends up 1, 2 floor panels down on the bottom edge of that one on this one here. That's why this is just this portion here. And now we could bring this one, which is going to give us another ring. All right, you know what? All right. We could, you know, bring these panels back or forward, you know, adding, you know, another layer in here. But just for ha-has, let's take a look at if we add it as well to the... Alright, we did this one. We want to do the second one. This one. Yeah, let's try that. Actually, let's reload first. I apologize. Oh, DG. Hey, no worries. Good night. Thank you for stopping in. Well, hopefully it'll lull you to sleep. It'll hypnotize you to sleep. But with the kaleidoscope, you know, one of the important things is, you know, for the base of it, is to make sure that all of your electrical connectors are facing in the same way, so that you're all the parts are shooting towards the center, aiming towards the center. That's probably the most important thing. The other thing would be when you're first using a geobay, to build it outside of the kaleidoscope first, to allow the vehicle to render in, and then that way it doesn't render in to the middle of your kaleidoscope. No worries, James. That's why I did this morning. Somebody had asked me to do this, and I was like, I was hoping to see a kaleidoscope tutorial, and I was like, I suck at doing tutorials. And then this morning I remembered Kibbles is taking a break from the Saturdays, so there was a little free time for me to sneak in today and kind of do the tutorial for this. And since I haven't streamed in a bit, I thought it would be a good thing to stream, actually have some content, not just me reloading 1,000 times. Alright. I do want to try to remember why I put these here. Those. This one. Bink. Later, DG. I hope you have a restful sleep. I mean, you could add any part to this. What makes the kaleidoscope is the moving parts. You know, could I add... Then this is... Alright, little history on how this came about. It is exactly known where the kaleidoscope came from, or the APG engine, as I've also heard people call it. Alright, what had happened was I was hanging out with my friend Joby Jabboy, who should be having his first baby soon, this month as well. And I'm not exactly 100% sure what he did, but I'm going to try to remember. I think it was a 6-sided, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, my stomach. Go away, you horrible, horrible pain. Alright. If I remember... So, Beebs came out with the perfect circle thing. But he didn't do this as a perfect circle. I want to say... Yeah, this was it. Okay. This was what he had. All right. But how did he do it? Let me think about this for a second. How did he go about it? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do here? Maybe? I don't quite remember. Small bar on the front, okay. On the bottom, rather. Yep, alright. I think something along these lines. Alright, the spacing might be different, blah, blah, blah. But what Joby's like, oh, I made this cool little thing. And I was like, oh, that's really neat. And he's like, I'd like to see, you know, what you might come up with. And then he had to go to bed because he's got a wife. I stayed up and messed around with the other parts. I started thinking, all right, well, what else does this, you know? And then ended up with the kaleidoscope. But the first thing I saw that inspired me to do the kaleidoscope was this. And again, I don't know if this is the proper spacing. Or if he did it another way. He might have done a circle, but only did 8. You know, again, I'd have to ask him what he showed me originally. It's been a bit. Yeah, I think it was a little bit tighter than that pattern. Did I lose anything? Did I add anything? Did I do anything? No. Reload. And again, tons of reloading when you're experimenting. It's just part of the crud you got to deal with. You know, it would be really great if they could have an undo sort of thing. You know, a couple steps back. I don't know how hard that would be. I bet you it'd be pretty difficult to do. But in order to get all the parts to sync up, unfortunately, you do have to reload a bit. You don't necessarily have to do, you know, add the race initiator, reload, sync it up, add the geobay thing, you know, reload, sync it up. You could just add in all the parts and then just sync it up once. I like to do it step by step to kind of see and to have a, you know, a starting point. Yeah, it was something like this. Something similar. I think he had it in. He pulled it in a little bit closer, but it was basically this. And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And might have been a different, like I said, it might have been something with the perfect circle. I don't remember entirely, but it was this basic thing that Joby had made, and I'm like, "That's really cool, dude." And that made me think, all right, well, what other things are moving and doing things? And I just, because I was already in that menu, and I was like, oh yeah, these things spin. All right. And then I was like, and these, these have those little moving bits there. I didn't even think at the time, and that was one of those happy little accidents, was how the race initiator kind of bounces. How it has that bounce right there. Like, I didn't even think about that. And so I just started going through all the menus. Like, all right, what moves? What's moving? What can I use that has a motion that, will also create a pattern? And then the kaleidoscope became the kaleidoscope. Or whatever your preferred term for it is. And even when we first got all this stuff, I don't know if some of you may remember the big flower I made that opened up. Did a few of them, actually. Using that, part there, the solar panel. All right, let's get back to this puppy here. And when's Beeble going on? I don't want to bump into someone else's stream. And I gotta probably get rolling soon anyway. I gotta figure out how to settle my stomach, because it is feeling nasty. Oh. And there's parts I still haven't even tried yet that I wanted to try in one of these, like this, for example. This puppy here, I wanted to add in, because it spins. I just never got around to it. Alright, why did I have these in there? Your directionality is funky. Why did I put you in there? Why did I have you there? What part was I? What part did I want to put there? What was that? What are you doing? Well, whatever it is going to be shooting straight out. Was it you? No. Maybe it was. Maybe not. No, because that would look silly. That might look neat, though. Oh yeah, that does look kind of neat in there. Especially if we get it powered up. Alright, what are you going to take with you? Anything? Nothing. Alright. Now, what if... Actually, I don't know if I can. I think we're going to red state here. You green? You are. Thank you. And this is where that layering comes in. You're just bringing the same thing, the same angle, but bring it back a little bit with another part. You're going to find some of the times with your rotation's not going to work, so you got to kind of flip the part around. And manually rotate it, and then it should, you should be able to L1R1 it into the, like, see how that's only going one time there. So now I'm gonna excuse me. Excuse me. Alright, you're still being a pain. What, you pain in my butt? Stop doing that. There we go, that's the way we want. Okay. Whoop. There it is. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries, but it eventually should do what you need it to. Oh, wait. Okay. That's good. Now these, if I delete these, I'm probably not going to be able to get that back in there. I'm actually almost 100% positive about that. And the other thing too is, if you wanted to, you could change direction. I don't know if I can add that here. Hold on. Can I? Oh, right on. Alright, now see how these are... I want to face that in the other way now. Thanks, James. And happy birthday. I hope you have a great birthday. You can kind of see, just based on these angles, how this starts to take on sort of a, you know, a jet engine shape, that cone shape, sort of conical. Stop your flippy-doing. Quick save? Why not? Did I do anything crazy that I shouldn't quick save right now? I don't think so. Nothing's removed. Those have been added. Those are in sync. We added new sets of floor panel or light floor panels in. Yeah, we can save. We're alright. Nothing crazy. What time is it? Yeah, 15 minutes. As a matter of fact, alright, good. Alright, so if I do that, that's going to do what? It's going to be at a weirdo angle. Part of me wants to get rid of this middle one right now. We just saved, right? Yes, we did. Okay. No nip nip, and I still don't remember things. Alright. I don't think I'm going to be able to replace that, but let's see if we can. No, I figured as much. Okay. I just want to remove it for now, just so we can see a little better. See, and even just that, like if you know, if we were to run through and change the color, just leaving those floor panels in there, you know, breaks it up enough so when you're staring at it, you know, head on, which is generally how you view one of these, you know, it will alter the, you know, the pattern. Anything you interrupt that circle with is going to change its pattern, really. And again, changing angles, changing rotation, position, just taking your circle and, you know, altering things. You know, now we could go here. Oh, never mind, let's not do that. Something tells me these aren't supposed to be here. I don't think I left them there for a reason. But what I need to do now is how much is that gonna... Now we're gonna lose that other pattern. I don't want that. Okay. What if we go to the back side? And that does that there, creates that pattern. Alright, this is going to be problematic, however. Because I obviously am not going to be able to extend all those out. Because we're going to red state eventually, right? So we're going to have to come through here and do each one individually. Yeah. That could get to be time consuming, but it might be worth it. I think it's going to be worth it. We'll find out shortly. It's definitely going to be time consuming. Because that's one. I'm probably going to have to manually rotate each one of these as I go around. Yep, time consuming. So thank you for bearing with me. Right? Although now I'm committed, so I mean I should be committed, but that's a whole other story. Let me know. You guys know when people. I don't want to. I don't want to run over there. And I got to get rolling in a little bit anyway. I just want to kind of finish this at this point. Almost there. Come on. What? All positions but the one I need. I got it. I see you. Alright, that one, and then this is the last one, right? Should be. And we're gonna have to reload. Alright, let's do a save. I know that pain. Yeah, right. Yeah. Add, subtract, delete. Add, subtract, delete. Ooh. Oh, man. I almost feel like I got a hernia. I know it's not. It's just like wicked bad intestinal crampage here today. That's what happens when you eat some stuff that's probably a little past its go-by date. Alright, what do we got? What do we got? Well, we're going to have to strip out some lights. To really see what we have, but that's why we saved. Well, and we saved so that we could reload and see it in sync, but... might be a tad bit on the bright side. But we might be able to dull that out a little bit too. It's possible. Oof. Yeah, hey, Joby, what's up? Joby, what was... I was trying to explain the original origins of, like, what you showed me, which inspired me to then, you know, build these crazy contraptions. But, like, was it a six-sided? Was it a perfect circle thing with the satellite dish thingy? And welcome. How you doing? How's the wife? Are you baby yet? Get rid of that. I don't think we need these here anymore. I don't think I'm going to put anything in there. I don't know why I have them to begin with. Oh, I remember why. Okay, yeah. It wasn't for there. It was for the behind it, but I kept them in there as holders. Oh, man. Whew. Yeah, my stomach is not a happy camper today. That is for certain. Oh, God. Pretty much slept in increments of 2 hours the last night. Like, just about every 2 hours. I was like, alright. I'm up. Yeah. Right on. Yeah, six-sided, and I figured out the initial floor panels around the biodome, but I only thought to get it for 6 or 8 sides. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad looking. That's kind of cool looking. What's it look like on the other side? Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll take that. Oh, really, Joby? Okay. I mean, it's like all night my intestines just feel like somebody's been twisting them. We obviously are going to have to reload because I don't want to lose these connection points, but I want to see what we have. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that one looks nice. That's a new pattern. I haven't made this pattern yet. It's a new pattern. Yeah, I'm alright with this one. But we want to keep, you know, those light panels there just in case. So we are going to have to reload, unfortunately. Then I went all stark on it. This is true. Alright. Now what color did I put these in at? Let's go black with those. I just went all I have no life and bored. I'm gonna have to redo this anyway because I got to reload, but I'm just seeing what it looks like. Yeah, see, we needed to make that darker to bring those out more. Now you can actually see that a little bit more. But see, that's what I'm saying, like just altering bits and pieces of your kaleidoscope to change the pattern, so you know you're not just flat. You know, that's what's going to really, you know, offer you some options here. I mean, look at the centered pattern here. Like, look how, because we put that first set of race initiators in, you know, at that angle, you know, a lot of areas tightened up, you know, giving us different patterns. Back of this looks really neat though. I think this one, the best view, well, so far anyway. Now, when I reload, and this is why you want to leave at least an outer border, because you can take these and bring them in and alter things that way as well. Yeah, I really like this one. This one came out pretty decent. Built a dozen of these things and I wasn't sure. You know, and everyone's different. Each one's different. Alright, one more reload. What time am I looking at? Yeah, I got a little bit more time. And then I gotta get rolling here. Manuel. Yeah, these things are really hypnotizing. They definitely are. So I hope this has helped some people here. You know, in terms of, you know, altering what you may already know, or if you didn't know how to make one of these, hopefully now you do. But, you know, taking some of these, and I'll show you a little bit here on how I alter the angles here. Have you set to put a pill light into the racing machine monitors? Yes, I have done that. I've used the monitors because you can put, you know, I've glitched stuff off the monitors before, yes. It's a little weird because they're moving to try to line up, but yeah. Alright, now to get your angles set on these, you're going to start with your flat panel. And you're going to take a pyramid or whatever you're going to use as your angle. Okay, so now we have an angle. Alright. We're still on the circle. Now you can you have 4 options, roughly. I mean, there's more, but and then got your angle. All right, now we're going to unfortunately have to remove that, probably that. Okay. And here's where you start, you know, okay, well, do I want to flip it the other way? You know, do I want to, and this is just, again, experimenting. Tons and tons of experimenting. Then once you have your angle set and you want to, and you know, roughly, and do one at a time, play with one, look at a part, and then, you know, once you're happy with that, then you can start, you know, add in all the others. Unless you're like, yeah, just forget it, I'm just going to use that, I don't care. And then basically you're going to do glass panel. Now it will move, you know, you're going to be a little further out, but it doesn't matter. If you want to bump it in, you can. If you want to leave it there, you can. I usually just kind of leave it where it is, because it alters that angle for you. It alters the spacing for you, so it's actually a bonus that it moves away a little bit, because then your spacing is not exactly the same as everything else, which again allows parts to cut through differently and, you know, expose, you know, just certain portions of it. And then get your floor panel angled, or get your floor panel in there. Bink. Now you want to kind of do this ahead of time before you start adding your stuff in, but you don't have to. You can just leave it where it is, and if you red state, you can do one of two things. You can leave it, or you can move it. So we're going to get into an issue bumping into this, you know, etc., etc. But say you want to move it, you can. You don't have to move it a full wall. You could do short walls and just kind of bump it out a little bit. But now we're, you know, we can come in at this angle now, which is different than this angle, different than that angle, you know, and it should provide, well, did we reload already? I think we did. Yes, we did, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. Well, those aren't moving as much anymore. They're pretty stationary. Yeah, you just, if you're going to add something here, you know, just find good reference, but there's plenty of it on one of these, you know, there's plenty of reference points. Like Joby was suggesting, you know, taking a pill light, you know, but just keeping it in the same. And so, you know, I mean, there's so many alterations you can make to one of these. It really is a question of taking the time to mess about and, you know, not care so much about, you know, having to reload. You got to have some time on your hands, that's for sure. But, you know, there's, I mean, heck, one of the original Kaleidoscope has a biodome in it. There's biodomes lining the whole thing, you know, so, and I added it as a joke, and then I was like, oh, actually, that looks pretty good. Granted, you probably won't now, but Okay, just because it's here already. It's not going to look good, I know this, but I'm just kind of curious, and I guess we're probably going to have to reload. No, 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 no. No. This, on the other hand, might have potential. We'd have to add some other things in with it, but nah, too much, too bulky, too crazy on that one. Well, you get the idea. I'm not going to bore you much longer here, but I just kind of wanted to get the basics down for you and then show you how to alter the basics and start thinking about building these in a you know, in a different way. I don't want these in there. I don't think that's going to be... I mean, it doesn't hurt to keep them around, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, there's nothing needs to be there, you know? We've already got plenty going on. But you could... I mean, it's so many things you could do. It's not even funny. It really isn't. It's really all about, you know, your connection points. If you and making sure things are, you know, all facing the same direction. That helps. But I'm gonna have to reload because I put that one at an angle. So, but you get the idea. Hopefully, this has helped to get you started on building a more elaborate style kaleidoscope. A lot of the ones I had seen were very flat. They were still really cool. People had changed up the parts and some of the spacings and whatnot, but I didn't see, at least I hadn't run across anyone who had done layers and angles yet. And if you refer to the kaleidoscope video on my channel, that one is like 4 layers and a couple of different angles, and that's how I was able to get all of that in there and to, you know, have the patterns that it had. I mean, I don't think I could ever reproduce that one because I don't remember how I built it, what angles I used, what spacings I used. But that's what I like about these. You know, every one's a little bit different. Unless you go with the basic, like, all right, we're going to go 16, the tightest that it'll allow me to do before, you know, it red states, and then that will always look the same if you use the same parts. So that, my friends, is that. So actually, you know what? Here, I'll show you an example of using the exact same parts. Take a look at this one. We'll watch it rotate a couple times here just so you get an idea, and then I'll jump over to where I built this exact thing. Zoom in on the center a little bit. Okay. Both my creative saves there. One's 485 something. This one's 485 00. Actually, I don't know where I am on this save. Where did I leave myself? Oh, like I'm starving. I want to eat, but my stomach is like, no, no, you're not putting anything in me yet. I was hoping like getting the coffee in the morning, get that, coffee rumbling, but that made it worse. The coffee morning coffee cleanse. Then I was hoping if I could distract myself, it would just go away, but nope. Where are we? Well, perfect. We're at where I was hoping we would be. Alright. So, yeah, HDR on for streaming is not the way to go. I'm looking at the stream now without HDR on, and it looks so much better. Okay. So here is the exact same kaleidoscope. And the only thing that makes this one different is the tower portion that Nereid built. But everything else should be the same. Although, oddly enough, it does look a little different, doesn't it? It's similar. Something's different, though. No, it's the same. Yeah, no, it's the same. Okay. But if we just had changed one thing in there, it would be different. See, unfortunately, as soon as I leave this area, a bunch of things disappear on me. And the pipes and everything come back, but the fans that I have installed in these areas do not return. These are all in there, but these aren't. Those two aren't. This section isn't. That one isn't. None of the parts on this side are here that should be. That one's in there. Bunch of this is missing right here. Well, you know what? Hopefully that's not all gone. Yeah, that's the bummer part, that some parts don't come back if you walk away. And then you have to reload. And I know I don't have 3,000 parts out. Heck, in one of my builds it does that, and I walk away and bunch of things disappear and don't come back, and it's a handful of parts. There's barely 500 parts on that build. Oh yeah, you almost done with that? That should be cool when it's done. Been a project in the making for some time. That Taurus. Yeah, see, there, we got all our parts back now. That's better. Yeah, all this in here was missing. The top of that was missing some of them. Alrighty. Getting closer. Yeah, those are a lot of work. What you're doing has got definitely a lot of manual placement. Yeah, definitely gonna have to get some tea. I have to go to the market when I stop here. Grab some tea or something to settle my stomach. Better than it was last night, though, that's for sure. Oh my god, it was horrible. Next time, I gotta pay closer attention to the food date. Alright. Alright, folks. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. It's been awesome to see you all. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope some of this has helped you. Again, to repeat, you know, in creating either, if you've never seen one of these, or if you have not built one yet because you did not know how, I hope that the first part of this helped you out. And I hope that the more advanced version will get you building some crazier ones. Can't wait to see if there's some other patterns out there that people create. I mean, I could spend another couple hours on this, and in fact, I probably will. You know, try to turn this into something. Since I've already got something going here, I might as well. I just wish it was darker here. The sun here is horrible. Thank you, Joby. Oh, and phase deletions too. Shite. So I don't know. I know I've been cutting my streaming down because it's, you know, I stream at an odd hour, and you know, there's not a lot of people who are able to show up. So I was kind of thinking I was gonna cut back, or try to find another time to do so. I might be on tomorrow night if I complete this after work, when I get home from work. Oh, right on, Joby. I'll be back on. I gotta hit the store as well. Oh, right on, James. But I know Beeble is starting soon, and there's other people who stream on Saturdays, and I gotta go to the store. I gotta get something to settle my stomach. The Tums aren't. It's not acid indigestion, you know. It's just something different. So my stomach's just feeling sour. Yeah, I got plenty of the fruit smoothie Tums. But yeah, I hope this helped. I hope this will get you building some crazier kaleidoscopes by just changing up some of your angles and your positionings, and layering in, you know, things. You know, doing multiple layers. This doesn't even have multiple layers. This is a single layer for the most part. It's just a single layer. But thank you all. Have yourself a wonderful day. I'm going to try to show up for Beeb's stream, so I'll hopefully see you there. If there is anyone streaming now to raid, I don't think there is. Oh, wait. Cage is working on the infected. That's different than No Man's Sky, so nope. Well, yeah. Alright. Well, I hope you guys have a great day. This has been me, APG. Wishing all of you out there in the No Man's Skyverse a little bit of love, peace, and starship grease. Get those action pants on. Get out there. Start building some wacky stuff. Alright. Take care, y'all.